Right, so this air filter just touches on, we've got some bolts hanging out the back there. Just touches there, and there's a Jubilee clip that touches. It's not much at all. I could probably just put a shorter bolt in there and solve the problem. It's just a little bit flexible, a little bit loose. So I can see if there's anything I can do with it, but I'm limited by the bumper coming in the front here. So what I'm gonna do is pop the bumper on and just see how much space I've got in the front here, because it'd be nice to have this sat in sort of that direction. And essentially I have this opening where I've got fog lights in the front bumper. So if they lined up roughly with that, it's almost a bit of a cold air feed at the same time. So that would be nice, but I don't know what space I've got yet. So this, get a bumper on and see what clearances we've got. There we go, got the bumper on. Just to note, when I reworked this front intercooler and the bracket for it, what I did is I set it back. So you can see where my original intercooler, I had to chop out all of the front here to get it to fit. But the idea is I'm going to replace this front for an original piece again and get the original grille back in the front, so you're not going to see, well, apart from the fact it's silver, you're not going to see the intercooler. It just looked like a standard stock bumper. That's the theory, and it looks like I've still got plenty of space to do that. Like I say, I'll have to source a new plastic and inner grille and see if it fits. But yeah, that was the idea behind it. And then I'll probably just make some sort of cowling to help force it through the middle. So yeah, that's the idea there. Anyway, back onto the task at hand, this air filter. So as you might be able to see, there is just not a lot of space. Probably the reason why I had it located there in the first place. Now let's have a look underneath. There we go. So yeah, I don't think it's going to quite fit behind the fog light, because I've got a washer bottle up there. So I could move the washer bottle, but I might not do that. Yeah, I could probably sit it a little bit lower. I've still got a couple of inches below the bottom of the bumper. I do intend to put a big splitter on the front, so that would stop the, obviously, rain getting up into it. Maybe there's space just along here below the sort of fog light opening. Yeah, I'm going to take the pipes off, have a little play around, see what I've got. I've only got bits of scrap aluminium. So I fancy buying new bits, just to, it's only the air intake at the end of the day. I had some pipes that I had practiced with. This was actually part of my original setup when the turbo was sat right down the back of the engine. So I got that and some bits here that I use for practice. Yeah, still blowing holes. So yeah, I'll see if I can use any of the angles from here just to straighten that air filter up and get it sat in nicely in behind the bumper there. Right, so as luck would have it, one of those pieces had the right angles to move it at a sort of 90-degree angle out of the bumper. So it looks pretty good as well. I think it's gonna work out like that. Getting it in the front here is just a bit too long. But yeah, I'll take this as a win. So what I'm going to do is quickly put the bumper on and just make sure what clearances I got. So I'm going to take that as a massive win. The chances of it being exactly right like that was good fortune. So yeah, there we go. There's a nice bit of clearance all the way around. And yeah, what I'll do is, where the bolt is there, I'll see if I can make a little bracket just to attach between these two. And that'll, because obviously it will still wobble where it is. If I just bolt it on there, then yeah, it's not moving anywhere, is it? So yeah, nice bit of fortune there. I'm going to take that. And yeah, so let's get the bumper back off. And I'll see if I can just get it nice and secure on there. Right, so feeling very dirty, just use the cable tie. I had this spacer here that I was able to, which I took off from the old setup. So I was able to just put it through, bolts on with these two, then just a cable tie through it basically, just to hold it still, and which it now is really solid. I could put a little tag on here just to hold it two together, nut and bolt through there, but the TIG welder is buried at the minute, so I don't want to dig it out just for that little weld. So as being it's just to hold the filter from rocking around and flapping about, I'm just gonna leave it. So yeah, that is done. I've had the bumper back on just to make sure that it still fits, which it all does. So happy days. Right, on to the next thing. Right, so the vacuum hose turned up, so I've just tied that in now to the fuel pressure hose. I did replace the one to the dump valve, just because well, it just keeps it a similar colour basically. So yeah, so with that done and that done, let's see what I'm going to do next. Right, so I'm going to leave all the wiper linkage off, and all the cowling off the top and the strut brace, because I still need to do obviously the wiring, which majority is that side. There's a little bit underneath there as well. Probably just going to run lambda sensor wiring. There is already a hole down there, so that's nice and useful. So yeah, I'm going to leave that all off just for access basically. So with that crossed off the list for the time being, I think what I'm going to do is get this coil pack sort of holder sorted out. Now it holds the coil pack, or the coil packs I should say, well enough. It's just messy underneath. The brackets underneath aren't great. It's just I just want to neaten it up basically. In addition to that, I need to make provisions to, I've got obviously the turbo return pipe here. I'm going to put in some standoffs or something just to be able to support some clips to hold that steady. I've obviously got the oil line as well, so I'm going to make somewhere, I'll figure it out, for this to go. Yeah, just to hold it all neat and tidy. It's probably going to come up around the back there somewhere. Yeah, so take it apart and then work with what I've got. Obviously the top plate will stay the same because I just take ages to sort of make and cut out and shape. But yeah, it's mainly the brackets, the fixings, the holes, because these are nuts and bolts. So you have to take off the unit as one unit to be able to undo the coil pack individually. So I'll probably get some riv nuts or something like that in the bottom, so I can just screw each coil pack down individually, things like that, just making it a bit more practical to work with. So yeah, let's take it off now. Okay, so that's that off. Now the main thing I'm looking to fix is the fact that it's nuts and bolts on the bottom. So obviously I have to take it all off as one go to get on that. So if I just undo the top bit, it's obviously the nut's going to fall off. Obviously I could just weld a little nut on the bottom, but what I'm probably just going to do is take it out and put a riv nut in here, so the top can just screw on together. I'm fine with using the nuts, I guess, as spacers, because they give the perfect height. Yeah, so that's hopefully should be a quick, easy fix for this. And as I say, that is the main concern that I've got with this setup, because before, as like I say, I can't take it out in situ, individual coils. It's all of it or nothing. So yeah, I'm gonna whip these apart and put some riv nuts in there. There you go, first stage done, nice and easy. Just some riv nuts in there, just allow me to bolt individual coils in. So that's that one good, done. Right, so now what I'm going to do is I've got some little marks here that I'm going to use. This one's for the coolant return. I need to get a standoff here to be able to attach a P-clip, and same here, that is for the oil feed to the turbo. So I need to put a hole in there, and then I say make a standoff or do what I need to do to create a fixing point for the P-clips. So that's the next job. Right, so that's a couple little standoffs made. Just knotting them up in the lathe. Nothing special. What I've done is, because this is actually sort of 3mm thick and it's only sort of M5 bolts that I'm using to hold the P-clips together. I've just drilled a hole and cut a thread into there, and obviously then when it all goes together it just stand off like that. Yeah, so that's that done. So on to the next thing. And there's the ugly truth underneath the holder. So just some quick, they were just quick brackets I made up. Just put in some thread into here, just to allow the sort of bolts to sort of secure it together. But there's only literally like one thread or 1.5 threads in there, so I might look at changing those to riv nuts. Whether or not I got enough space because of the size of the bracket, I don't know, so I'm going to see what I can do there. And I might just neaten it up a little bit. Obviously you can't see it, it's only there to literally clamp it down. But yeah, I just cut off the excess of what's needed. Obviously you can see I've had to like chisel out to get the holes for the coils and things like that. Yeah, just neaten them up a bit, and just a better thread basically in there. And then obviously this will then go in and bolt on, or it will do if I can get around it. Goes in and bolts on, and then obviously I can put the coils in. So obviously you can't see it, so I'm not too concerned. But yeah, so that's the next thing. Get these cleaned up a bit and sort out the thread. Right, so that's the brackets there, just cleaned up a little bit. Riv nut in there, just for better thread basically. I've used a slightly smaller bolt size as well, just because obviously I don't need the big thread. So yeah, let's get this all bolted together and make sure all the coils still fit. And there we go, all bolted on. So yeah, so obviously now I have the pipes just nice and secure. The oil feed is nice and secure. I can still get the coil packs out with this pipe on there. I can still get the oil cap off. So yeah, that's all good. Happy with how that's come out. I did have to just tap the mounts down slightly because the thickness of the riv nut just raised it up like by about, well, in total by about 1 millimeter, just for the coil packs, just for the height onto the actual spark plugs. But that was minor. So yeah, happy with that. Another job. I can cross that off now, I suppose. There we go. So yeah, let's see what's next, I guess. Okay, so I thought I'd just pop the headlights in just to make sure the clearances were good. This side's absolutely fine. All the power steering pipe you can see down there. All plenty of room, fits lovely, no problem. This one was the potential issue, and it is an issue. So the lower coolant pipe, where now is a different expansion tank, and obviously all the coolant pipes are modified, it's all pressing against each other. Down in there is all touching, so that's no good. Very tight clearance down the side of the headlight, which is all pushing it basically into the alternator belt. So I'm going to need to have to modify this hose and try and get that all fitting nicely, so obviously the headlight can fit in without touching anything, and keep it well away from the belt down there. So that is going to be the next little thing to sort out. Right, so now I've got the headlight back out, we can see a little bit more of what's going on. Now it's not ideal as it is, it's a little bit dirty, but I've got future plans to change like the power steering and inlet manifold, things like that. So I didn't want to spend too much time on the pipe, but obviously if it's going to rub through, it's no good. So essentially I need to bring this closer to the mount, a lot closer, which probably just be a case of just chopping it to bring it closer. But if I do that, obviously the whole lot moves closer, and then it's going to be touching the belt. So I need to make this side longer. Obviously you can't do both. This I want to try and secure away from the belt more as well, but obviously allowing enough flex for engine movement. So that's something I need to consider. yeah, so what I've got is a box full of bits, pieces, leftovers, scrap, and I can see if I can work out what I'm going to do. So yeah, bear with me just a few moments and I'll see if I can figure out. So it's a good thing I like puzzles. So this is the attempt I've come up with so far. You can see it's kissing just, but it does. It's not like pressed up against it. There is like a little bit of movement in there. And obviously that should all be solid anyway, so it's not going to be flapping around too much when it's all put together. Obviously I've had to put new joins in it just because that's the nature of the beast, I'm afraid. But it goes down, creates a lot more room down by the belt. There's loads of room now, as you can see. And then from underneath, you can see now I've put a 90 degree on here, take it that way. So obviously that can rotate anyway with movement and things like that. And it won't touch anything. Obviously it needs to be clipped up, and what I got underneath the headlight here is I'll just need to make some kind of bracket in here just to obviously stop this flapping around, but I'm hoping that should be quite straightforward. So yeah, I might have just another little play around and see if I can make up anything else, but that is going to do exactly what it needs, so it'll probably just stay like that. Yeah, right, I'll pop the headlight back out and get making this mount. And that's the pipe done. Just a simple P-clip in on the chassis. See, now I've got loads of room between the belt and the pipe. This has got plenty of flex to be able to move with the engine support. This is tight up against the engine mount here. I've had to use the spring clips rather than Jubilee clips just because of the space. But they're so tight on there. They're basically a maximum spring. So I'm not expecting you to see how much is bowing the pipe out. So I'm not expecting it to be an issue. I haven't got any Jubilees anyway, even if I wanted to. So yeah, that's all done. And then obviously back onto the pipe underneath there. So yeah, all happy, all done. Light goes back in and fits. Beautiful. Right, let's see where I'm looking for the next thing to do. So yeah, what I think I'm going to do is call it a day, actually, thinking about it. I got a load of mess to sort out. There's loads of bits and pieces everywhere. I've made good progress on it over the past few days. Yeah, I'm going to call it there. So the list is to get it on the wheels. It's all done. All the front little odd bits and pieces all done. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. So yeah, I'll see what I do next time in the next video. Hopefully, it might be on the floor, because I think that just about wraps everything up here. But we'll see. Join me next time, and we'll see what happens.